Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of NYJFTV. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Sirkin, joined alongside Fireman Ed, Rob Carpenter. Amazing what 2 weeks does. Last time we were here, we were 1-1. We were drinking the Fitzmagic. Now we're 1-3, 8 quarters of just god-awful football. And for me, it starts with two people, the head coach and the quarterback. Ed, what do you think?
Well, I definitely think the coaching is, I'm starting to question the coaching because, Todd is a defensive coach, and I see our defense playing back on its heels. I don't see the aggressiveness which he was known for. I don't think he's putting those guys in a position where they can succeed. With that being said, you can't turn the ball over like crazy. We worried that Fitz would we said if in the beginning of the year, if Fitz turned the ball over, that was going to be a problem. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things. They always blame the quarterback for everything. I'm not on board with that, but he's doing his part, but I think it's a lot of the team. I think you can spread the wealth around.
You can, but for the most part, like you just said, it starts with the QB, and you can't actually turn the ball over as much as he's done and keep the team in the game. That you turn the ball over, that puts the defense on their heels, puts the defense in bad situations. We've had special teams turnovers that contributed to points for the other team. So there's a lot of blame to go around, but 9 interceptions in 2 games is not good. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you paint the rosy picture that some people are trying to paint, you just can't do it because it just puts the team in a bad position all around. In a 60-minute game, if you averaging 4.5 turnovers, that's not a good deal.
No. So at this point, is it time to make a switch and go to Geno Smith?
At this point, I would say this coming Sunday, against the Steelers, if things aren't going well, you're almost going to have to because the season will pretty much be lost. And you have guys in the locker room I know who are looking at Todd and at Chan Galian like, how long can we stand this? It's the other guys, livelihoods on the ball as well. So, and I'm pretty sure the defensive guys are out there and like, look, we got to stop turning the damn ball over because you guys are putting us in a bad bind. We're on the field so damn much about this. We can't continue to play games like this. And there's some blame to go to the defense as well. When you're having a team, go 90 yards on you and controlling the ball 6-7 minutes per drive, that's not a good deal. But when you look at the defense overall, they're not really giving up a whole lot of points where a team like the Jets should be winning these games when the defense is only giving up 17 points a game.
Well, we didn't turn the ball over when we gave up a 93-yard drive at home. Then we decided to give up a 91-yard drive, and we went down 14-3 on a Legion of Boom team that is not going to be easy to score on. With that being said, Fitz is definitely not playing up to what I thought he was going to play up to. I'm on Fitz's bandwagon. I'm still on Fitz's. I'm going down in the ship with Fitz.
We don't want to fix the ship. Let's go down with it.
Geno been there, done that. If we're going to Geno and we're going any length of time, you right out of this mouth, we're getting about 4 or 5 wins this year. So plan on that, Jet fans. Okay, so hope that that's not the case and Fitz turns it around. That's all I hope. I hope he does. If he doesn't, it's going to be a long year.
But Ed, you say been there, done that.
Yes.
He has not been there and done that with this team, with these weapons, with this offensive coordinator. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been in the league now for 11 years. His winning percentage is 20 games under 500? He's been on 6 teams. Shouldn't we be expecting more from him as the veteran?
Absolutely. I agree with you that we absolutely should be expecting more from Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's obvious. But the people that are naysayers say he's never done it. Okay. Last year he had a very good year. What the bet in the end of the game, the last game of the year. Geno, on the other hand, maybe he should get a little more mature. Maybe you should wake up and be a true NFL quarterback and act like one. Not like we constantly hear all kinds of nonsense. I'm not going to get into it, but let's get real here. Get in the playbook. You want to win the position? Stop making tweets, innuendos on social media. Wake up, brother. You're on a team.
I can't put Geno down for any of that because that doesn't have to do with anything to do with on the field performance. You know, like Kevin said, Geno hasn't actually been in this offense to actually perform yet. He was touted as the starter before we all know the punch, but he hasn't actually had a chance to perform in this offense yet. Fitz has actually been with Gailey for years, so he should know this offense in and out, and he's still making the same mistakes that he'd been making, 6 years ago. All the mistakes that he made with the turnovers that he had in Buffalo. He's not a quarterback who's actually even sniffed the playoffs yet. So, you have a guy who possibly can turn things around with Geno, but you never know. And it's pretty obvious. The writing is on the wall. Not many people actually, it seems like in the organization, actually want Geno to actually play. And I said before, the season even started on these telecasts, it would probably be better if Geno was in another place to get a fresh start somewhere else where you didn't have to deal with all of this that's going on right now. But, going forward, again, Fitz has to be the guy who limits the turnovers. Yes. Fitz has to be the guy who actually has a running game behind him, because if you're trying to lean on him to win you games, that's not been him over his whole career. And that's, being in the league 12 years as he's been, the book is written. It's there. You're not going to change that book. And everybody knows last year was an aberration with that, with what he did with the weapons that are here now. But,
And even if you look at his success last year, 12 of those 16 games were against teams in the bottom half of the league in defense. It's not like he went up against good defenses. And you look at the film now, if you look on Twitter, how many GIFs have you seen this week of Robbie Anderson and Brandon Marshall just blowing the top off of defense, and he's sitting back there staring into double and triple coverage?
It's not even the fact that he's throwing the ball into double, triple, quadruple coverage. We all know his arm strength is suspect. And when you have guys who actually have the speed that Robbie Anderson has, Brandon Marshall has, Eric Decker has, there could be times in these games where there could be huge plays going for touchdowns where guys actually have to slow down to come back to try to make catches. And we've seen it for the last 2 years with Fitz. And that was my concern when Fitz was first put in the starting position last year. I said it before the season even started. Arm strength, suspect. Big plays are going to be left on the field because he doesn't have the arm strength to get the ball down the field like Geno or Petty or even Hackenberg. Those guys actually have the arm to get the ball down the field, and it was shown in the preseason a few times. But, going forward, if Fitz is going to be the starter, he has to cut down on the turnovers and stop putting the defense in a bad position. And even special teams. Special teams has to come through with because it's a three-phase game, and everybody knows that. And when special teams has been putting the team in a bind with these turnovers that they've had from Jalen, and even his fumble on offense turning into points for Buffalo defense. It's those things that can make a team go into the tank, and it seems like last 2 weeks it's happened.
No doubt about it. I just think that, we say about his arm strength, he looked pretty good in Buffalo. He's throwing that ball down the field quite a bit, right on the money, to a lot of those wide receivers. So I think he can do it. We're going to find out. The bottom line, we could talk till we're blue in the face. We signed him for $12 million. He's the guy. If they thought it was Geno, they would have gave Geno the job. So, like Rob says, the organization doesn't believe on Geno. The reason Geno's here is because Bryce Petty didn't show enough to make him the backup quarterback. And now he's hurt. So, if Geno comes in, what I will say is this. If Geno comes in, I will root as hard for him as any Jet that I root for. So I have nothing against Geno. Nothing against Geno. I'm just going by his work, what he's done in the past. And he's never showed me that he can be an NFL quarterback right here. And that's a problem. Fitz has shown his track record. I get it. We signed him. I'm going down with the ship. It's that simple.
All right, well, moving off of the quarterbacks, let's get into this defense because I know you were fired up about this. This is supposed to be Todd Bowles' bread and butter, and it just seems like everybody, especially in that secondary, other than Marcus Williams, that they've all regressed. Calvin Pryor and Marcus Gilchrist, we're still waiting for them to show up. Doesn't seem like we're getting the kind of production that we thought we were going to get from the defensive line. You listen to Todd Bowles talk, 1 minute it's miscommunications, then it's not miscommunications. What's the problem with the defense right now?
I don't see aggressiveness at all. I mean, I was talking to Rob earlier, off camera. I mean, they're on their heels, number one. I mean, it seems like they're bull rushing all 4 guys. Your best defensive players on the field are on your line. You would think you were going to give them opportunities. It's not going to be bull rushes. You know, how about stunts across? I mean, looping, there's different ways to bring your defensive linemen to give them an opportunity to get to the quarterback. And it doesn't seem like they're doing any of that, which is really mind-boggling to me. I mean, I don't know what happened to Malden. He got 6 snaps last game. 6 snaps. Todd said in training camp they were expecting big things out of Malden. Well, if you're expecting big things out of Malden, how do you play him 6 snaps? And you can't tell me it's the schemes and it's the teams we're playing. He's not getting a lot of snaps. He's been getting less and less and less. So something maybe we don't know. Is he injured? Is he not in the playbook? What exactly are we doing?
Do you think it has
here?
anything to do with the weight gain? He's just a little bit slower now. I mean, just not adjusting to that?
I honestly don't know. I mean, Calvin Pryor, our safeties. I mean, if you're going to start with guys and you want to start pulling guys out of the lineup, you better start with the 2 safeties. Just start with them right off the bat. I mean, I love Calvin Pryor, but I mean, you got to get it done here. I mean, Gilchrist, what happened? I mean, it seems like they're anticipating routes when they're not there. They're making moves and leaving the back end, leaving the corners out to dry. I mean, you're supposed to have help in the back. Am I right or wrong? I mean, I can go on and on and on. It makes me nuts when I think about when I'm watching that defense and looking. And if it's not the defensive line that's not doing anything, we're getting killed in the back. Then we got guys 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. There's no bump and run. There's no aggressiveness. A little bump and run. Maybe we can blitz. I mean, aggressiveness. What do you got to lose at this point? Do it in Pittsburgh. Blitzburg.
I don't actually even know what it is, where you can point your finger, because there's just so many things going on that are totally out of sync. You know, when you saw the first game, the way the D-line played in the first game against Cincinnati, those guys were everywhere. Cincinnati had no running game. You know, you come up with 7 sacks. It's like, okay, this is the way the defense or the front 7 should be playing for the rest of the season. And then we go into Buffalo, and it seemed like the scheme changed against Buffalo, where guys were actually just trying to play in their lanes to keep Tyrod Taylor in the pocket. And it seemed like from that game, it just moved right along where you don't really have to do that. You know, last 2 games, except for Russell Wilson, and he was hurt. He was injured. It's not like he was going to be taken off. But, you know, going into this game, hopefully, against Pittsburgh, we know Ben is not going to be running anywhere. He's a big boy, and he's hard to bring down. But he's basically a stationary guy who's just a strong guy who can kind of just brush off pass rushers. Hopefully the aggressiveness comes back. Granted, they take shots. Pittsburgh is probably the one team in this league that will take shots down the field, you know, consistently. Ben will throw the ball deep. So those guys in the back end actually have to be aware of that and know he's going to take shots. Antonio Brown, best receiver in the league. So that's going to be a test right there. Le'Veon Bell's back. That's a test right there. So, you know, there's a lot going on right now going into this Pittsburgh game.
Coach,
and exactly. Wheaton, those, you know, they take shots and with Bell, that's added more pressure to the defense. But the one thing I want to see if this happens is if the front 7 guys actually see it and go get it instead of kind of just reacting to what's coming at them. You see the play, go get it. Like Lee actually has been doing. That guy actually he sees it, he goes gets it, but not everybody else is doing the same thing. And as we talked off camera a little bit, you know, Marcus Williams and Screen, it seems like those are the only guys that are, as far as the DBs go, that are really aggressive in bump and run coverage. Darrell has been playing off for whatever reason. I have no idea. I don't know if he's hurt, if old age is just coming to it right now. I don't know what it is, but it seems like the safeties are getting put in a bind where they are having to go make plays to compensate for what the corners are doing, and that's taking them out of position. But also, as Bull said, I can see it, you know, from watching the games. There's a lot of miscommunication back there in the defensive backfield. Guys are playing and going into positions that they shouldn't be, blown coverages that are basic coverages. When you have basically 3 deep and you see a guy actually stepping up to cover a flat route when he's a corner and he has 3 deep, it's like, where are you going? What happened right there?
It's
What
the same
what call did you
defense
miss?
that we had last year?
Yeah,
so
and it's just those guys are not just.
It's not new guys. I mean, you got two new guys. You got Steve McClendon and you got the two new young linebackers.
Yeah, but that's it.
They have
Anderson.
nothing to do with
But
the
the
back
DBs,
end.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I just.
I don't know what it is.
very
And
frustrating.
honestly, when I was in the practice I was at during training camp, I saw a little different schemes and what they were doing. I just thought it might have been a practice thing, but I'm seeing it on the field right now. So I'm a little concerned with that going for the rest
And one of the
season.
things that's just beyond frustrating now at this point, you mentioned Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. It just seems like week after week, we can never stop the opposing team's best player. We talked about Jimmy Graham. We talked about Travis Kelce, A.J. Green. You go back to last year with Sammy Watkins and DeAndre Hopkins. We can never stop the opposing team's best player. He doesn't have a game plan for the best player
I
on the
think
other
he's
team.
actually taking it upon the guys to actually be in one-on-one with these guys and not scheming to take those guys out of the game. You see other defenses that aren't, the greatest defenses in the league. They'll scheme to say, okay, we're going to double this guy no matter where he is. I think Bowles is playing his defense to where it was last year, where guys could actually play one-on-one and handle a situation one-on-one. Like, Revis has been touted as the best corner in the league for years. He would say, you've got him one-on-one, and then you wouldn't have to scheme to take other guys out of the offense. So I think right now that's happening, and it's just not working out.
It just seems like it's too easy for the other quarterbacks. I mean, 70% completion percentages. Every
Well,
quarterback's over 100, QBR right now.
That right there tells you the story. Like, to me, if they're going to lose Sunday and go up to Pittsburgh, at least bring it. Bring it. Live and die by the sword. Send blitz packages. Send the truth. I mean, send the guys. And if you get beat, hey, we took a shot. But to sit and do what they're doing right now is insanity. It's really like you just get so frustrated as a fan, and you're a former player looking at that.
And I think the frustration for the defense comes into where on third down. Those guys, it seems like opposing offenses just make completions on third down, continue drives. It's weird. It's a weird dynamic right now because the teams are controlling the ball, but they're not scoring a lot of points, which makes it really weird because it seems like the defense is not really playing well at all, and they're not playing well in certain sequences of the game. But overall, and as far as scoring goes, me personally, I don't think the defense is playing bad at all. It's just that in certain sequences of the game, third down, third and short, third and long, the offenses are actually getting first downs. And second and long, the offenses are getting first down, which is weird.
Defenses that stop the third
No,
down.
true. I'm
What
agreeing.
about turning the ball
I'm agreeing. The
over?
turnovers aren't there.
I mean,
I'm
we
agreeing
have
with the
two
third downs.
turnovers. If you count the third one, it's the Kansas City when he fumbled at the goal line.
yeah.
They consider that a turnover, but that's not really our turnover. We have two turnovers. Between the turnovers, between Fitz having 9 interceptions in the last 2 games, I mean, it's a disaster. I mean, we haven't won at home. We're 0-2 at home. Okay, we can get into the home field advantage and that whole stadium. If you want to get into it, by all means,
Let's get into it.
I'm right there. Oh, listen.
Get into it.
When you built the stadium, okay, you were supposed to build a stadium that was like Seattle. What a joke! You built the stadium that was all club seats. That's what you did. You redirected everybody that was at the old stadium, that were all tight, knew one another in every section, and then you moved them and scattered them because you went for these big PSLs that you can't sell now, that everybody loses money on, okay? But forget about that. The whole point is that there's a camaraderie. All the white suits over there, all right, that you don't have a clue. You don't have a clue what it is to be a diehard and love that team and love them. Okay, like the Green Bay fans. You think the Green Bay fans or the Pittsburgh fans or the Seattle fans are any better than us? There's no way. It's impossible. I can attest to that. I know what it takes to rock 80,000. Yeah, say what you want. Oh, he's full of himself. You're full of... Shut up. All right? I don't want to hear it. Okay? Listen, you did something. You made a mistake. All right? You made a foolish mistake. But they still got to win on the field, and the fans will be there, and the fans are backing you. So when we're 0-2 at home, it's ridiculous. 0-2 at home. We lose Cincinnati and Seattle. We got more Seattle fans there. It was a joke. You know why? Because everybody sold their seats. Because you killed them. You took all their money. You took the soul out of them. That's what you did. You did it. And you know you did it. But you're okay with all the green room and all the guys, all these big celebrities. Oh, we got the Wolverine. What's his name? What's the actor there that was on the side with Zac Efron and the other guy? A nice guy, but he's, they're more concerned with that girl, Giamo or whatever her name is. I mean, are you kidding me? What a joke. All right? Get into the fans. Make it a home field. Help them out. And I didn't quit. I'm still there.
There you go.
Any thoughts from you, Rob?
From the super fan himself. There it is. Nah, I can't really speak to that too much more than what Ed just said. If it was going to be an experience for fans, they should have made it a little more close-knit stadium. But it is what it is, the way it is right now. So I guess got to deal with it the way it is.
For the diehard fans, I mean, being somebody that grew up in the old stadium, I didn't care that it said Giants on it. I cared that on Sunday we were going to have 80,000 fans that were going to be rocking that building, that we knew everybody in our section. We had a great time. The biggest thing that we were looking forward to wasn't the tailgate. It was getting in the stadium and rocking it. And it's just not there anymore. There is zero home field advantage. And it's a shame because I think that we have a defense that's talented enough if we get behind it at home where it could do some things, but
the fans are trying. The fans are, they're making attempts. These two guys that are, the Jetman and what's the Scotty. I mean, they're giving their best effort. It's hard for them. I'm not going to knock them because they're doing the best they can. I really believe that, and I know they're diehard fans. They're trying. I do believe when you win, it makes things a lot easier. But they sure didn't help anything by the way they designed everything, okay? But I'm not going to whine for that because the Giants won a Super Bowl there, okay? Even though they were on the road. They didn't actually win there. They won on the road. So, it is what it is.
All right, well, as we start to wrap up, what are your thoughts on this coming Sunday against the Steelers? What is it going to take for the Jets to pull out a W here?
No turnovers. That's going to be a big thing. We know that Pittsburgh is a high-powered offense. They have a good defense as well. They can get after it, especially at home. If you watch those guys, their defense gets after it at home. The biggest thing in any game, at any coach, any GM, anybody will tell you is the turnover game. You win the turnover battle, you have a chance to win the game, and most times you do win the game. And that's not been the case with the Jets' last few games. So just me, personally, I'm just looking forward and hoping that, Fitz doesn't turn the ball over, he cuts down on the turnovers. And basically everybody. It's not just him because there's been fumbles here and there. And, like I said before, the special teams turnovers aren't helping as well. But and also on the defensive side of the ball, how you contain Bell and Brown. That's going to be the biggest thing. They have other weapons, but their big money-making weapons are Bell and Brown. And if the defense
maybe
can
doing that without Revis too.
True. Yeah, because if his hamstring is down. But if Revis is down, Screen, Williams, Burris, Antonio Allen. Hopefully he gets to step on the field some because he, in previous years, before this regime took over, Antonio Allen was a big part of that defense, and he made a lot of plays for this team on defense. And he's a good guy to have on the field. He's a ball hawk. So that's the type of guys that you actually need on the field.
That was the last time we had a score on defense, was Antonio Allen. So what I'd like to see happen is obviously don't turn the ball over. I mean, talk about clean game, completely clean game. How about we force a couple of turnovers? We can get in that game and turn things around as far as that goes. Let's play a clean game. Let's be together. With that being said, I do think that we're going to play a good game. And that's all I'll say. But I just want to let you know that I haven't been and I haven't taken this helmet out since Pittsburgh won the championship game. Okay? I bought seats. Me and my buddy bought seats, 50-yard line, first row, behind the Jet bench, on the aisle, directly behind the Jet bench. I've been to Heinz Field. I know the layout. I'm going to talk to those players. I'm going to let them know number 15, number 14, and the rest of the team. I'm going down with the ship. I don't think we're going to sink. I say we're going to swim, and we're going to direct the ship correctly. So I'm coming with my helmet. I'll have my jersey, and I'm going to take the rat of Pittsburgh, and I'm going there strictly to encourage the team, to let them know that I'm still with them. I always have been, but maybe we'll get a little luck with this. Who knows? You got to do what you have to do. You try your best. Let's right the ship and make it roll.
So you're saying the Jets are going to win this Sunday?
In my heart, they're going to win. In my head, we'll see.
It's a tough call, man. Honestly, this is probably the first game of the season where I'm a little skeptical of them pulling out a victory. But
They haven't shown you any reason to believe that they can win the game. I mean, I'm the biggest diehard, and they showing me any reason. I mean, Pittsburgh's quite a team. So, and you're going up to Heinz Field, which is a true home field. Okay, great fans. They have their meatheads, plenty of them. And we'll see what happens. Play a clean game today. How about playing a clean game in Pittsburgh and getting a couple turnovers? Maybe we'll surprise some people.
I wasn't even skeptical after the Kansas City debacle. You know, going into Seattle, I still figured that you pull out a game, pull out a victory at home. But this is probably the first game of the season. Well, not even probably. This is the first game of the season where I'm like, this one.
Just when you usually think that things are dead, that's usually when they come
turn
out.
around, yeah. We'll
so
see.
that's what I'm pulling for.
We'll see.
So we'll see what happens. Yep. All right. So for myself, Ed, and Rob, we thank you guys again for tuning in. Make sure you're following us on social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram at NYJFTV. And we'll see you again next week.
Do Hooters girls make your beer stay colder and your wings taste better? Do they make the greatest month of football ever even greater? Yes. Yes, they do.